Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Untold. It is the show all about the untold story of great individuals, their journeys and their experiences. I'm Abdullah Hindiani. I'm with my colleague Marzouk Said.
Hello, Abdullah. And the more you travel, the more stories that you have to share with people. And the more excitement you do, the more your story will be really amazing.
Yeah, and I think for today's guest, we have Abdullah AlSanousi, who is, mashallah, he's been to 92 countries, if I'm not mistaken. And he has such a great story to tell, right? He has so many experiences. He travels extensively through learning the cultures, right? He's not just exploring the countries
Definitely.
as much as he's actually living through them.
And that's what I like about him, is that he not like having the regular common trips that people do. He's doing something irregular, something unique, and he traveled to different destinations. So definitely his story is gonna be really amazing, and there's a lot of experiences that he's gonna share with us.
Yeah, but until we get to actually meet and interview him, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back.
So stay tuned.
And we're back. We're joined by Abdullah AlSanousi, who's going to be taking us through a literal world journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to first welcome you on the program.
Thank you, and thank you guys for having me and giving me this opportunity to tell my story.
Yeah, definitely. It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's customary on the programs that we always start with the beginning, right?
Mhm.
What is the untold about you, and especially your curiosity? What got you into this whole thing?
To be honest, it started out of curiosity, and I was bored. So my friend was a traveler, Yusuf Al-Rashid. He told me, Abdullah, I'm going to Bangladesh. I told him, okay, I have no plans for this date. So I went with him, and it opened my eyes to another level of traveling. Like for us Kuwaitis, we used to travel to Europe, to big cities, America. Like we're seeing stuff that most of Kuwait is seen, but to go to this type of places like poor countries and discover stuff that you have not seen or not get familiar with, that was very exciting for me. So I think that was from my starting point.
So it was your friend.
Yeah.
Was there like some of your family member as well, like who influenced you later?
My family members are against the thing that I'm doing.
Really?
Because most of my destinations either dangerous places or non-touristic places.
Not that
so
typical.
no,
Like you go to.
not typical at all. And I don't like typical stuff. Like for me personally, going to Europe or to Dubai or all these countries, it's mostly similar to our country.
Yeah.
Like you have the same shops, same coffee shops, same restaurants, but to go to, let's say, virgin countries that has not been affected by the Western countries, yeah, it's totally different. Like you see original people, their original food, original culture. So that's what grabbed my attention.
So you got into traveling how many years ago?
Let's say starting from 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you decide that, oh, I want to see as many countries as I can instead of just, exploring?
To be honest, for me, it's not a number. Some people take it like it's a race, like I want to finish the world in a year. It's not about this. It's about like really discovering the countries that you visit.
Yeah.
Enjoying the trip.
Exactly. So if you go to one of these countries for one day just to get your passport stamp, that doesn't count. Like, what did you see in that country?
Exactly.
How many people did you meet? What their language? Like the basic stuff. So for me, I like to take my time and enjoy traveling and learn from it.
So speaking of taking your time and enjoying traveling, what is the thing that you enjoy the most about traveling? Is it the process? Is it the journey, the countries?
Is it the adrenaline rush activities?
No, to be honest, I'm not that
Not
type.
that type.
But for me, it's enjoying the trip itself.
Yeah.
Like the journey, how to get there, the people that you meet, the culture,
The
like
food that you
the food,
try.
everything about related to that country. Enjoy it and not like rushing around because
Yeah.
we still have time to
Definitely.
do so. I know a lot of people that rushing themselves that I want to finish all the countries in
2 days.
yeah, for me it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
To be like the first guy to visit other
To
countries.
come back
It's-
to Duania and show off, like, hey, I've been here.
exactly.
That-
Like, you're trying to show off, but what about the information that you have? What about the stories that
You
you faced
encounter.
there? Exactly.
It's cool.
So for me, I'm not the guy that want to go to, let's say, luxury places, the places that we are all
Where you
familiar
relax,
with.
you chill.
Yeah, I like to mingle with the real people, with the
the
traditional
locals.
people. Yeah, with the locals. And I like also, as I mentioned, the dangerous places.
Regarding the dangerous places, was there like an uncommon story or a moment that you have experienced?
Like the most terror story that I faced. I remember once because there was the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Okay.
So I know there are a lot of stuff in the media. Like some people say, this is the right stuff, this is the wrong stuff. But for me, I wanted to see what was going on, really. So I've been to Moscow during the first of the war, and I've been to Ukraine like a couple of months after the war started, and for me it was really disaster. Like seeing all the buildings, people there. So for at that moment I realized, yeah,
You
now
discovered-
I can decide and I can make my mind who's wrong and who's right.
Yeah.
You know.
And
Yeah.
it probably changes your perspective on life, right? It makes you appreciate the kind of safety that we have.
Exactly. Like when you compare it to how we are living,
Yeah.
not only with the countries that have these
War.
type of wars, also the, let's say, the poor countries. Like when I've been to Africa or Asian countries, and I see people like, for example, one of my favorite trips was to Bangladesh. It was a solo trip, and I spent 2 or 3 days in a village. I stayed with a family, like a local family.
Okay.
And I've been wearing just exactly like them,
Like-
uzar and all this stuff. So when I see people, how do they live? No, really, they don't have that entertainment that we used to.
Yeah.
Like the TVs, mobile, they don't have this stuff in every places. So that makes you realize that, wow, I'm blessed to have all this stuff, and not having the count of it. Like it's just normal. That's our
You take it
lifestyle.
for granted.
Yes, exactly. But in reality, it's a blessing that we have all this stuff.
And in that term, like I know you mentioned you travel solo. A lot of people, when they see someone traveling solo, enjoying themselves, because I do that too, they ask me this common question. Don't you get bored? Don't you feel kind of sad to travel by yourself?
I got another question. Are you crazy? Like, especially my mother. Like, why are you traveling alone? Why don't you travel with your friends? But sometimes, okay, I like to travel with my friends, but my friends, not all of them can do the stuff that
Or they
I'm
like
willing
the things
to.
that you like to do?
Exactly. And for me, sometimes I like to have like a time by myself and travel and discover the
Having
country.
your schedule by yourself, where to go.
To be honest,
Where to
I do not schedule my trip 100%. Like I make some points. Like I want to see this place, this, but not fully planned. Like I know people have these crazy calendars with the hour by hour. No, I don't do this stuff.
Flexible.
Yeah, I'm flexible. Like for example, one day I meet someone and we have a great talk. We go somewhere. So why do I want to ruin my schedule if I have one? So I just let it live with the flow.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's a great approach to traveling, and it's an approach that I am a fan of, right? If you plan everything, you're gonna miss so many great moments that are spontaneous.
But it's not like me recommending do not plan your trip, especially if you have a job and you
Yeah.
only have like two weeks a year to travel. No, in this case, you really have to plan it well to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But for me, my schedule is very flexible, so I can decide whenever I want to travel, and I can take it easy. Like usually, I book one-way trip, go discover the places. When I'm finished, okay, let's go
book
back
another
home
one.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And after like reaching around, I think 92 countries, was there like a symbolic moment that you recall or like a milestone that was very inspirational for you?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe visiting around like the Antarctica, because for me, like when I was young, this was like a dream.
Yeah.
to see the penguins, the whales, this stuff, the mountain of ice. I never imagined I can go to this place, but I did. That was 2 years ago, and it was like I never seen anything in my life like this. So it was a very big moment for me.
Then for now, I know where is my next destination for summer.
Antarctica, yeah.
You can join me next trip.
So you said that you kind of prefer to solo travel because, you know, I assume it's a lot of less responsibility, right? It gives you freedom. I want to talk to you and ask you about the first time you went on a solo trip. Where was it? How was it? You know, how did it feel like?
First time, I believe it was like I did a lot, but it was like more business related solo trips. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the first solo trip was to Bangladesh, I think 3 years ago. I was with a group of volunteering job in Bangladesh, and we stayed there for 5 days. After that, I told them I want to extend my stay. So I stayed there alone for additional 5 days. I just hooked up with a driver, asked him I want to make me a schedule to see show me your country, how beautiful it is. So I had a cruise ship to another place in Bangladesh, and usually, you know, when we see cruise ships on the internet, it's the luxurious pools,
Huge, big
theaters, stuff like that.
activities.
Exactly. So I told him book me a VIP room, and it was very affordable. So the VIP room was for us was the very basic. So I wanted to see what is the normal rooms. How do that look like? So I was looking through my balcony to the next cruise ship in front of me, and there was no room, just a big space. People were laying on the floor and sleeping. And personally, this was like heartbreaking. Like I don't like to feel like I'm prince. I'm having this VIP room, and some people just laying and sleeping on the ground. So for me to see people like very high and very low, and there is no middle class in those communities, I don't know. Like for me, I think there is something wrong in this stuff. But anyway, after the cruise ship, I've been to many places in Bangladesh, and as I told you before, I lived with a family. So our schedule was just get up in the morning, go milk the cow, have a walk, join the school to see how. And the funny thing is, everybody there was like amazed. Oh, you're a foreigner. You're here. Where are you from? Tell us about your country. Especially the kids were very, very curious. Like
And
there are someone's different from us and here to visit us. They appreciate this stuff.
of course, and we are also like curious to know more about these 92 countries and the experience that you have, but definitely after the break, so stay tuned.
And we're back with Abdullah AlSanousi, who's going to be talking to us more about traveling. And I do want to emphasize the idea of traveling because from briefly talking to you now, you know, you have traveled, right? I think for a lot of people, we don't really travel as much as we explore, if that makes sense. But you emphasize the fact that you like to be ingrained in the culture, right? Meeting the locals, being within their circles. And I want to ask you, how did that come along, right? Because a lot of people just go and see the country and then they back off. But for you to actually be involved in the country.
Well, it depends on your taste while traveling.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people go to Europe and make their list of the stuff that they want to do there, mostly like restaurants and coffee shops. And I'm not against that. It's basically your taste of traveling.
Yeah.
But for me, I like to do it differently. I don't like cities because, as I told you, cities for me are more similar to each other nowadays. I'd like to discover the far places, like the UNESCO heritage, because for me that explains a lot of the history about the country. Their stuff, I like to discover their traditional food, their language, their culture. What do they dress? So that's what I like to do, to discover in these countries.
in that regard, when you travel to some countries, they have great hospitality. I remember like being to Kyrgyzstan, and they were awesome. They welcome you, they smile, they are very friendly, and they're very, very kind. Do you remember like a country that you've been to and you received like a great hospitality?
Well, Kuwait and the Gulf countries are special for me in these terms. But I think most of Asian countries, they do the same. Well, mostly most of the world countries, they do have this, but not in the cities, not in the city people. When you go to the villages in any country, when people see foreigners, they try to help them, welcome them. So it happens a lot. And I remember in one of the African countries, it was Mali. Mali is very poor country.
Very basic.
Not basic, very poor. That's way below basic. So when we went there, because we're Muslim and they are Muslim too, they were happy to see us, and they made us like food and stuff. And I know that they put too much effort to do this, and I know their abilities and the finance situation of them. So I appreciate what they are doing in terms of the hospitality.
And speaking of cultures, what kind of country or culture you find more similar to Kuwait, to our culture?
Similar to Kuwait, I think mostly maybe Asian countries like India.
Okay.
Yeah, and especially in terms of food. Like Kuwait food cuisine is
It's
mixture of,
delicious.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's mixture of like Iran, Iraq, Indian food. Like basically it's rice with either lamb or chicken, but the spices may be different. But yeah, I think Asian countries are the most similar to us, and maybe the Latin America in terms of family tradition and boundaries of the family members. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about for my personal anecdote, because I was studying in the United States, but I knew a lot of Mexicans and I was
Yeah.
friends with them. And the amount of similarities between
Yeah, it is.
Mexico and Kuwait surprised me the most. Their emphasis on family, their emphasis on being with family, being
Yes.
with close one,
Yes.
is so much like us, instead of Europeans or Americans.
Even when they have this Sadu, they have the similar pattern.
Yeah.
And it's funny for me because I don't know how did this mix with this, like very two far countries.
It
They
is,
have
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, it's so crazy to see, the DNA of our culture in this region goes so far beyond, the borders.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And in terms of culture and differences or like similarities, there are also differences when it comes to language. So was there a country that you come to and you discover maybe they don't speak English, or there was like a barrier in
A
language?
lot of countries.
And what did you do during that time?
I make sounds.
Sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
the
like
funny
what?
thing that they understand it. Like when I try to go with the very basic English, even though they do not understand English, but some people like they know okay, no, yes. So coffee shop, they told me, I said them, thank you, and that's it. And guess what? It works every time, wallah. It works every time. So I just make the sound, they reply with the sound, and we go there.
Okay.
But in these countries, I like to learn their language. It's very difficult, but at least I learn the basics.
That's a
Hello,
creative
goodbye.
way,
Yeah.
That sounds.
I should make a book about it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of countries appreciate when you try to, be ingrained in their culture. Because I remember from maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I went to Germany, I tried to order stuff by their language. And the only thing I remember was like, Ich habe eine Apfelschaften. So that's the only thing that I remember. But I do remember that their people were so happy. Their smiles are
Yes.
so big whenever you're trying to talk in their language.
Even here, when you see a foreigner from Europe or these countries trying to talk in Arabic, it's make us happy. Like these people are trying to learn our language and our culture.
Like
And
the
so-
appreciation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I want to go through the specific process because you've highlighted a very key topic, is that you said you go to dangerous places, right? And your mother hates it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I want to ask you about the process because I know there's a lot of things that go into that before you go into the country. So talk us through it.
Okay, so 3 or 4 years ago, I've been to Mali, and Mali is very well known. Like it was the old state of Islam in Africa.
Exactly.
So they have that city, Timbuktu, which is very dangerous and hard to go there
Yeah.
because there are a lot of robbery and stuff to go by road. And when we went there it was like the first time to launch the airline from the capital to Timbuktu. So when we went there, people asked us, Abdullah and Yusuf, please always cover your face because we don't want people to see you there because they don't know you are Arab. They are just thinking you are a foreigner, so it might be dangerous. So there was maybe 3 groups of worldwide very known terrorism group, and it was dangerous. Like the second day we wake up, our friend there told us 2 kilometers away from your hotel there was bombing. So it is dangerous,
Like
but
it happened.
it happened. So in that case, you have to be very careful. Like when we go to the street, they ask us always to cover our face. They don't want people to see us. So in this case, you have to really study the place that you're going to before you go there.
Like sometimes you want to go travel solo, be just spontaneous, explore
Exactly.
during your
Like
journey.
I'm having this question every time. Like when I travel to any country, people ask me, "Is it safe?" I tell them like usually all the world touristic places are safe mostly if you go afternoon in the morning, but do not take the risk or the chance to go late night alone. It is dangerous wherever you go. So, and another thing, always have a tour guide with you in the countries that you are not familiar with, just in case, because they know do not go to this place or that place, it's dangerous. Like last year I've been to Brazil, to Rio, and Rio is very beautiful city, like beaches, the stuff, the restaurant there.
Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, but also they have very very dangerous places.
The
Or
favelas.
maybe like
Yes, exactly. And people were warning us, do not go randomly by yourself because you just might go to a very dangerous neighborhood and they can do
something bad could happen.
Yeah. They can do very bad, serious bad stuff to you. So you have to be careful with this
Did
stuff.
that like kind of make you maybe Google the area or like find
Yes.
more like YouTube videos before like going in?
Exactly. Or have a local tour guide with you just to be safe.
Yeah, and I think this also goes back to my trip of knowing Mexico. I remember I think my friend told me that, the difference and the danger between one road, between Cancun and the roads leading to it was like, it's a life and death situation. I think for a lot of people don't realize that even the touristic places that are a little bit far away, you can be in danger in so many times.
But for me, I've been to Mexico in 3 or 4 cities. It was not like the same country that I was imagining because
Yeah.
of the movies.
Yeah.
Like when you say any Mexican
Yeah,
movie, it's
like you
always
think about,
shooting and
Yeah,
stuff.
like
and
Narcos.
Yeah, exactly.
Narcos, you think about cartel and like all
Yeah,
this,
but
like,
but when you really go to Mexico to the touristic cities,
It's beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Latino music everywhere. People
people are
enjoying.
happy. Everything is nice there. Like one of the cities, I forgot what's the name of it. I saw a very big, like a huge yacht. So I asked, whose yacht is this? They told me it's for Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook founder. So rich people and very famous Hollywood actors, they have their assets there. So if it was dangerous, they would not risk it.
Yeah.
So
And,
depends on the city.
Definitely. And if you just say like hola, you could look one of them,
Yeah.
Did you get that before?
Yeah. I do. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. In Mexico, I've been to like a touristic shop. I
Okay.
want to ask about some stuff. So I've been there like, hola, ¿cómo está? Maybe 4 to 5 word, and that's all I know in Spanish. So she was answering me, la 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 la. When she stopped, I said, sorry, I don't know your language. She told me, you came here with ¿cómo estás? Blah blah blah. And I said, sorry, I only these words.
And I
That's
think,
my limit.
yeah, and I think that's a lot of problems we face if we're trying to be, شطار travel.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna ask you, because you've been to so many dangerous places and you've talked to us. You've mentioned several scary moments. I want to ask you, what would you consider as the scariest moment that you've had?
It was, I think it was in Ukraine, because we've been to what's the name? I believe it was Kharkov, something. Like it was the area where the war was going on.
Oh, okay.
Did you
And-
hear like fires and like maybe like rockets, stuff like that?
Yeah.
You did?
Yes. So the city had after 5 p.m. everything literally shut down, and you're not allowed to go anywhere else. No lights, no nothing. So except like you see rockets
And I
flying
think
around.
sometimes like electricity went off
Yes.
during that time.
Yeah, yeah. They have a curfew. So after 5, so nobody's allowed to go anywhere, and
Okay.
all the lights in the city are off.
You were there with a tour with your friends?
No, with my friend. So
He's Kuwaiti too? Or?
he's Kuwaiti, yeah.
Okay.
So at night, I remember we could not sleep because of the sound of bombing, and you can see it through the
Only
window.
reading Shahada.
So for me, like when I'm sending my family, look, can you see the bomb there?
Your mom was probably so scared at the moment.
My friend was so scared.
Yeah.
Like he was knocking my door. Abdullah, I want to sleep in your room. I told him, no, I book it. Go to your room.
And unfortunately, because we're kind of drawing the near of our runtime, I do want to ask you about one question. Is that what kind of travel advices or travel, essentials would you like to tell people, especially for people who want to go through travels, but they're afraid of taking that step?
Yeah. I always recommend people just get out of your comfort zone, because most people of Kuwait is like 5 to 6 countries that all people go to, but there are a lot of
Just love
beautiful countries and destinations. Just go there, book it. Have the. It's not a risky thing, but you'll see something that you've never witnessed before. So I always recommend people, if you go to this country, just go to another one, discover more.
Definitely. Summer is approaching and there's a lot of destinations. After hearing Abdullah Sanousi stories, I think he influenced you to travel to somewhere new. So try to take this challenge. If you didn't travel before, travel by yourself. If you travel to some common countries, try this time to travel to a new destination so you can have a new special story. And maybe one day you can tell it in the Untold. Thank you, Abdullah, for sharing this amazing experiences.
Thank
and the
you,
laugh
thank
with
you for
us.
having me. Thank you,
It was a really great pleasure to have you on the show.
thank you, thank you.
Definitely. And now we're going to go for a quick break and then we're going to be back. A great key lesson that he shared is that always have a tour guide with you, especially if you are going to a very dangerous places.
Yeah, and I think what was so great about Abdullah and his message is that, he doesn't really blame people or tell them you're doing bad things by just going to the countries and being, casual tourists, But he says to really be ingrained in the culture, right? Really explore the country. And I think that's a great message to end the episode on, is that, if you're going through travels, take the extra time to actually know the country, right?
Definitely. And since summer's coming, where's your next destination?
Well, my next destination, hopefully I can go to somewhere with a lot of beaches, right? Because that's where you want to be in the summer. So we'll stay tuned on that one.
Okay, for me it's gonna be Brazil. And for you, where's your next destination? Until next time, stay creative, stay courageous, and explore new cities.